Hello student and welcome to lecture. Today we are going to see how to design modified atmospheric packaging. So before starting the topic, let us understand what is MAP or modified atmospheric packaging. So MAP is a method of packaging a product with the aim of extending the shelf life. So in MAP we generally deals with the temperature and the gases or atmospheric inside the packet. So we will see the theory behind the MAP and the design one by one in this lecture. Before that, let us understand some nomenclature which we are going to use in this lecture. So I will consider all the nomenclature one by one whenever the formulas are coming, but for reference you can refer to this slide for the nomenclature, what is meaning of the what. Okay, so for that we can refer this slide. So anyway, I will tell all the nomenclature in whenever the numericals are coming, whenever they are coming, I will tell all those things. So coming to the introduction of MAP, MAP is having long history of even packaging is having a long history. So basically it is done for the extension of shelf life of the product. It is a technique to increase the shelf life of the fresh produce or of the product. It also required a specific or a specialized machinery to perform the operation. Okay, we need a gas flushing machine and a vacuum or blower to create the vacuum inside the packet. So those things we need, okay, and even the mixer we need. There are different components of MAP. So this MAP is done with a specialized machinery, and normal, like we have to change the inside composition of the material, inside composition of the packet. Okay, normally what we see that 21% in the atmosphere we are having 21% of oxygen, 78% of nitrogen, and remaining are the other gases, in which carbon dioxide is the highest with 0.1%. Okay, so this is the generally, like in atmosphere, this is the composition we get inside the atmosphere, but in MAP we modified the atmosphere, okay, so that the shelf life of the product can be increased. How we are going to do that we will see in next slides. So these are the components or experiment setup for MAP. Okay, so what we do, we deal with the nitrogen, oxygen and CO2. These are the three gases we deal with inside a MAP or modified atmospheric packaging. So we are having three cylinders of one cylinder of nitrogen, one for oxygen and one for carbon dioxide, and those three gases we set with the help of the valves. We set the required amount or required pressure through the valve, and those with that pressure, that gases are passed to the gas blender or a mixture. Okay, it is a blender or a mixture which mix the gas, and we are having the check valves in between so that we can check for that even pressures are maintaining inside the pipes or inside the system is okay or not. Okay, so when we permit the desired amount of gases or desired amount of discharge from the cylinder to the gas blender, when all the gases comes inside a gas blender, they get mixed. Here all N2, O2, CO2 all get mixed, and then we try to make the composition homogeneous. So in mixing we try to make the composition homogeneous, okay, with the help of mixer. That's why we are keeping gas blender. Then the mixed gas will pass to the system, okay, in where our product is used to pack. Okay, this is a packaging box and this composition is passed to the system. Then this box is hermetically sealed, okay, so that there will be no leakage of the gases, or sometimes we provide some perforation to the system so that we can achieve the efficient MAP. So these things we will see later, but these are the basic components of the MAP. Okay, so this after desired ratio we are going to this box is having our material as well as our desired CO2 N2 and O2 composition. So how we are going to design MAP? So first step in designing a MAP is, first we have to select the product. Okay, which product we are going to deal or which product we are going to preserve. First we have to select the product. This is the point 1. We have to finalize the product, because MAP condition varies with the product. As the condition of the product, as the product is varying, the condition of the product is varying. More, not only the condition like with the product. For example, if we are designing MAP for fish and chicken meat, okay, fish meat and chicken meat, if we are designing MAP, modified atmospheric packaging, then the composition of the gases inside the pack will vary for both, okay. Although both are the meat products, but for both it will vary. Not only with the fish and meat, but with the age or tenderness of the meat, properties of the meat, okay. Like fish and meat, it definitely varies, but suppose we are taking only the meat only, okay, the chicken meat only we are taking, then what happens? Then what is the product conditions? What is the meat condition? At what stage it is got means cut, what should be the ripening stage of the meat, okay, all those things, what are the curing stage of the meat at that time. Depending upon those stages also we have to alter our MAP conditions. So second one is, first we have to select the product, whichever product we have to decide. Then second one is determining the condition of the product. Like in case of fruits and vegetables, we will determine the ripening stage and the quality to be packed for that. Then after, once we will get the stage and the product, then next, if I write in short, then this is the product. Which product we are going to see? This is stage, at what stage the product is. The next is estimate from the literature, or estimate, first we will see how much CO2 or oxygen they are needed to survive, okay. So how much nitrogen, oxygen, and what are the suitable conditions for temperature, water vapor concentration, okay, are needed to survive. Third one is conditions to survive. This we can either do it experimentally or from the literature also we can refer. What are the conditions to survive of our product? Okay, at what condition our product generally survives. The next one is, we have to find out the rate of respiration of the product, okay. What is rate of respiration of our product at different time or a condition. So this thing again we can refer to literature, or we can go by ourselves also, like we can do experimentally also. Once we get our product, well, then we'll get to the stage, then we get the conditions to survive. These are the conditions we have to maintain, and what is the at those conditions what is the rate of respiration of the product. After till this point if we get, then we are going to design for the material, which type of material we have to going to select for the product, okay, which type of material will be best for product. So this is like packaging material selection. This type of packaging material we are going to use, that is the fifth point in designing of any modified atmospheric packaging. Once we will get, okay, we are going to, we got LDP, HDP, or whatever the properties of the packaging material, which and these properties depend upon like what is the O2 depletion, or what is the respiration rate of the product, what is the CO2 increase in the product. Depending upon that, we will find out which type of packaging material we are going to select, and this packaging material also influences the cost of packaging, okay. So while deciding the material, we have to select the material which is not too costly, okay, and solve the purpose of MAP. So after that, define the packaging structure. Next step is define the packaging structure according to the product mechanism, fragility, marketing intention, and availability and cost. So next one is the designing of package. Here we design the packet. Okay, what should be the structure of the packet, how the packet will look like, okay, what is the purpose of packaging. Depending upon that, we will decide the packet. Okay, then we will see the design the packet. Okay, this depending upon the properties like mechanical fragility or marketing intention or the whatever the cost is. Okay, so depending upon that, our product can be like flexible bag, like pouches we are seeing, or rigid bag, or rigid pouches like tiffin box we are seeing. Okay, for sweets and all, we go for rigid box. Okay, whereas for powdery material, we generally go for the flexible bags. So depending upon the type, we decide which type of packaging material we are going to use, and after that, once we choose the this type of packaging material we are going to choose, then we will decide the size. Design for size. Okay, what will be the size? Size directly influences to the surface area. Okay, so size is directly influences to the surface area of the product. Okay, so here we are deciding the size or designing the size, and it also and deciding the quality of the product or quality of the packaging material. Here in point 7. So here also same, decide the size. Then is the size, then what we are having? We are having two types of packaging, active packaging and passive packaging, MAP, active MAP and passive MAP, that we will see later. So depending upon active or passive behavior of the product, is that our whatever we have designed is, it is needed to be actively packed, product is needed to be actively packed or passively packed. Okay, so if it is actively packed, then we have to provide some perforation in the packet, okay, or we have to add the scavengers in the packet. Those things are later. Okay, so depending upon the behavior, we will see like which type of packaging, or what we can say, this type of pack, which type of pack we have to decide. Either active, depending upon the respiration condition, we have to provide perforation or not. Okay, if we have to provide perforation, then we go for this method. Okay, we have to calculate the surface area again, how much perforation we have to find out. Okay, if no, then do we have to add any scavengers or ethylene scavenger, CO2 generation. Okay, so if yes, then we have to decide how much the quantity of that. Okay, these are the things we have to decide in type of packaging we are going to decide for the product. So these are the points whenever we are designing the MAP or modified atmospheric packaging of any product. So after this, we will see the theory. Okay, what actually happens inside the packet. Okay, so generally what happens, we as a human beings take out oxygen and given out carbon dioxide. This is the same thing with microorganisms. Okay, so generally the food spoils because of microorganisms. So these microorganisms also breathe CO2, breathe O2 and take out CO2. So when we pluck our fruit from the tree, okay, then degradation starts from that time itself. Okay, so what happens? First, microbes will attack the food, then they start multiplying. Okay, or worms will attack the food, they'll start multiplying. So these things happens as soon as we are plucking. So at that time, if we are providing, like keeping the fruit in ambient conditions and giving sufficient oxygen to the enzymes or microorganisms, what happens? they will multiply rapidly because they are getting the required conditions. Okay. So now what we do, we try to give them very less oxygen. Okay, only the oxygen which is needed to respiration of the food. Okay, and to maintain the quality of the food. Okay, and to survival of the certain enzymes, we will try to limit the oxygen concentration inside the packet. Okay, and we try to control the oxygen content inside the packet so that survival of those microorganisms will be difficult. Once that is difficult, the shelf life of our product will increase because the microorganisms will not get time for reproduce, okay, to multiply. They will fight for their survival. Okay, that's why we limit the number of microorganisms inside the packet, and this will influence the shelf life of the product. Okay, so this is what we are going to do. So what we will do, we will limit the CO2 concentration, and we increase this, we limit the O2 concentration, we decrease it to some extent, and we increase the CO2 concentration, okay, to much higher extent. Okay, so we are doing double actions, like we are decreasing O2 concentration and increasing CO2 concentration, and O2 less means less survival rate of the product, and CO2 is also killing the microorganism. Okay, so two things we are doing. With O2 limitation, we are limiting the growth of the microorganism, and with CO2 increase, we are killing the microorganism. This is what we are doing. So CO2 inhibits increase of most of anaerobic bacteria. Okay, so it is the most important gas in the packaging of food under modified condition. One can say the higher the CO2 concentration, the longer the durability of perishable food. Okay, so higher the CO2 concentration, longer the durability. But this is not the case always. There are exceptions also. So then what we do, we increase the CO2 level. Okay, we can't increase up to 100%. Okay, so the inert gas we have to add, which is neutral, which won't increase or decrease the growth of the microorganism. So for that we use nitrogen. So nitrogen is an inert gas which is readily available, not very costly also. Okay, and which is used to replace oxygen inside the packet, and which is used to take out the oxygen from the packet, okay, from the picture, so that we can fill the gas with something. So we can fill the packet with some gas, that will be nitrogen. So O2 is generally used for growth of microorganisms, and it should be excluded from MAP. We know already this. But in some cases the level of it can bring positive result also. This is what I was talking about, and this we will see later also. But okay, so this O2 is helpful of retaining some enzymes also. Okay, and enzymes are useful for us. Certain enzymes are useful. So for retention of those enzymes, we have to keep some certain level of O2 inside the product, or inside the packet. So it keeps the natural color of the perishable foods. If we are not maintaining the proper level of CO2, then the color of the thing, if we are not maintaining the O2 levels, then the color of the product will decoy, or it will decrease. So it will also affect the acceptability of consumers, and it will also affect the freshness. That's why oxygen is needed inside the packet. So this is what happening inside the packet. This is our product. This is our product. So this product do many things. Okay, one is respiration, then heat transfer, then transportation. Okay, heat transfer means when we respire, we generate some heat, correct? And then when conditions are controlled outside, like if we are not sitting in AC and you are asking me to do lot of work, then I am respiring very heavily. Okay, my respiration will increase, and heat generation will also increase. So that heat transfer occurs, respiration occurs inside the product, and evaporation of water will also occur, which we know as transpiration. Okay, these three phenomena are continuously occurs in our product, okay, and even in micros also. So due to the H2O or the transpiration, what happens? We seal the product in certain conditions. So condensation of the water occurs. That's why sometimes we find the water inside the packed, modified packed packets. Okay. Generally, this is the case in when we are packaging, when we are dealing with fruits and vegetables. This is the case. We find water inside the packet. Okay. So that water is because of transpiration and condensation. Okay. So that's why we need some holes or perforation inside our packaging material so that this condensation rate can be decreased. Correct? How we provide some perforation that H2O can be evaporated from the system. Okay, so this will be permeable film which permeates something, which permeates CO2 or O2. And we also try to cool the MAP packed product. Okay, generally we keep in the freezer so that this heat also we can reduce. Okay, by cooling the product. Okay, and we are maintaining CO2 and O2 levels continuously by maintaining the permeable film or by changing the conditions outside or inside. Okay, so this is how we are maintaining the conditions inside the MAP pack. Either it can be with the permeable film like perforation, or it can be passive or actively packed. Okay. So major gases we already know are three: O2, CO2 and N2. And combination of these gases depend upon the food products when packed at a storage temperature. When the temperature also comes in picture, the shelf life of the product can be enhanced drastically. Okay. So we not only with three composition of those three gases, we also try to add the temperature effect also. Okay. And noble gas such as argon are used commercially for food produce like coffee. Okay, we avoid use of nitrogen. Okay, we use argon in that case because it gives the better results. It is more inert in nature. So, in other snacks, however, its uses are limited. Okay, then CO2 and SO2 are mostly commonly used gases in MAP on experimental level. Whenever we are experimenting, we generally use CO2 and CO and SO2. So this is a packet in which we try to show how generally packaging happens. So these are the our produce which is doing respiration, but with the help of the film we are trying to control the respiration rate. Okay, and we also modified the temperature inside the tray. And this is the tray only for convenience. Okay, this is not MAP. So this is what happens, and we also put some water absorbent pads or some things which absorbs the water if that water leak is there or juice leak is there inside the packet. So from this graph we can see what are the what should be the different concentration of CO2 and O2 inside the package. Okay, so this is CO2 concentration and this is concentration of oxygen. Okay, so here we can see for different fruits, like for cranberry and plum, we have to add only 1% of oxygen and we can go up to 4% of carbon dioxide. Okay, so this is how it's. For cherries, we have to maintain, this is the range, like 3 to 9 of CO2 and of O2 and CO2 of 10 to 15. So this is the range we can maintain for the product. This graph shows how different packaging conditions or different packaging, what are the different oxygen and CO2 levels of various products. Okay, in this graph we can see conditions for apricot, grape, kiwi, peach, banana or avocado, mango, papaya, pineapple, grapefruit, orange, okay, and blackberry. And this is for beta of LDP, okay, for which type of packaging? For with LDP type of packaging this graph is for, okay, and this type of graphs we can get for HDP also in the literature, okay, but generally for food products we will do LDP. Next comes the respiration rate, okay. What is respiration? Now we will deal with what is happening inside the product and how to calculate the respiration rate of the product, because for designing we need to find, first step is, first we will see what are the conditions. First we have to select the product, then what are the CO2 and O2 conditions. This was step 2. Step 3 was find out the respiration rate of the product, correct, after finding the stage. So respiration occurs because of this. When sugars consume oxygen, they release heat and water with CO2. So this means heat is nothing but energy. They release energy, CO2 and with H2O, and sugars are consuming oxygen, okay. This is generally happens inside aerobic respiration. So this type of this type of microorganisms are generally doing aerobic respiration, and not only this simple equation, they, a part of this there are so many things are also related in the packaging, okay, but we are generally see this equation, okay, because this let's keep the things very simple. And there are other things also like metabolic pathway of glycolysis, okay, tricarboxyl acids, TCA cycle are there, other cycles are also there, but let us not consider those cycles. Let's keep a very simple equation. So this is what happens when something respires. So this involves oxidation of organic substances such as starch or sugars, this we have seen, okay, and which releases the CO2 and O2 already discussed, and which also generate the heat. So kinetic theory suggests that this is known as the kinetic theory, suggests that the respiration rate may be reduced by decreasing the O2 level inside it, okay. What is the things which are governing for this equation? This, correct, only O2 level is governing this equation, right. We can't control starch or sugar content of any product, okay, we can't control that. So the things we can control is O2, so we are controlling that. So this like we are supplying less O2, which results in less CO2 production, O2 production and heat, okay. If we are reducing less CO2, less O2 concentration, what happens? All the starch is already there, but we are not giving them sufficient inputs so that they can be reduced to carbon dioxide and oxygen. So they have to retain in their original shape and size. That's why microbes are not affecting MAP packed product. Okay, so respiration we are controlling by controlling the oxygen level. So how to measure the respiration of the of MAP or inside the packet? So there are 3 methods we are dealing with. First is flow through systems, second one is closed system, and third one is permeable system. So permeable system nothing but with perforation, that we will see in last. Now we will see with go with both, like flow through system or closed system. Flow through system, okay, let me tell you here what is flow through system and what is closed system. Suppose this is our packet, and inside the packet we have kept our product. This is our product. Now in flow through system we supply oxygen and we take it out from the system, okay, sorry. So this is what we are doing, okay. We are supplying either oxygen or gas, any gas, it can be CO2 also, it can be nitrogen also, okay. Not limit to oxygen, but generally oxygen we are going to supply. We will supply inside the packet, and once done we remove the oxygen, sorry, carbon dioxide from the system, okay. So this is what we are doing in flow through system. We are supplying and we are taking it out. But in closed system, name indicates it is a closed system. So what we are doing, we are just flushing everything out, then we are packing the desired concentration inside the pack, and we are keeping it like that. Okay, so system is closed, nothing is going out, nothing is going inside. This system is closed. Okay. So oxygen flows in the okay. Once we have understood these three systems, what is flow through system, what is closed system, what is permeable system, let us understand how generally it happens. Okay, this is just perishable system in which the oxygen flows inside the product. Okay, slowly oxygen, because this perforation we have given, so oxygen generally get inside, and CO2 and O2 and moisture content will escape from the system. Okay, we decide the perforation that way that oxygen will not get out from the system, only CO2 and water can get out from the system. Okay, so these pores are scientifically calculated with micro perforations with lasers. Okay, so with the help of lasers we control the size of the pores so that we can achieve this. And these are the films, generally the higher barrier, like higher ends which are sealed or closed. These are the films which is hermetically sealed and consistent transmission starting rate they are having. Okay, after that rate only they will start transmitting, before that they won't. So these are the things which we should understand before designing each system. So when we are talking about flow through system, this is very much important where we are positioning the inlet of our gas, like this is flow through system, right? So here we are supplying the gas, correct, and we are taking gas from here. But we have to keep the position of this inlet and outlet very precisely. Okay, so that the mixing of gases will occur uniformly inside our packet. Okay, if these two inlet and outlet are very near to each other, then what happens? The gases will come and escape directly. Instead of mixing with the product, they will escape directly, and that will again lose the energy and degrade the quality of the product. Okay, so position of inlet and outlet tubes should be sufficient far to ensure the through of mixing of the gases inside the jar or inside the container, and the steady state inlet and outlet concentration are measured with the instruments such as gas chromatograph. So then with the help of gas chromatography we will find out the what is the oxygen respiration rate and all. This method is accurate but less precise. Okay, this is not very precise but accurate. Okay, this will give you accurate reading but not the precise reading. So the equations which governs is this, where R is the respiration rate of oxygen, okay, or rate of oxygen getting inside the system. RCO is the rate of oxygen, rate of carbon dioxide getting outside the system. Okay, so O2, what is the concentration of oxygen are getting inside? O2, which is the concentration of oxygen getting out of the system. Similarly, CO2 and O2. M is the molecular weight of the oxygen, CO2 molecular weight. P, F, R, T, W are the respective nomenclatures which we have seen earlier. T is the temperature, R is the retention coefficient, W is the work. We are dealing with F, and P is the pressure. Okay, so these are the equations which governs the flow through the systems. Next comes the closed system. Okay. So in closed system, what we do, we don't let the conditions or inside condition of chamber, we control it and we won't change the condition. Okay. So this will be sealed. Okay. So nothing will be going out, nothing will be getting in a closed system. Everything will be trapped inside the system. Okay. So measuring the respiration rate as a function of gas concentration is more efficient in this system, and it involves monitoring of O2, sorry, this is CO2 and O2. Concentration inside the closed jar containing product as a function of time. So with time what happens, CO2 and O2 concentration are changing, that's why we will add time as a concentration. Okay. Rate of concentration of oxygen will depend upon time here, whereas in previous condition it was not depending upon time. Remaining things are same. There we are seeing the concentration different of inlet and outlet. Here we are seeing with time what is the rate of depletion of oxygen, what is the rate of increasing of carbon dioxide. So next, after respiration, so there is another factor which influences the respiration, that is temperature. So what is the effect of temperature? We'll see. So this is what governed by Arrhenius model. We generated a model which will find out what is the respiration rate or what is the time dependence respiration effect on the respiration rate. So how to find out? With the help of Arrhenius model, we will find out what is the temperature dependence of respiration rate. So equation here, we find out the O2 consumption rate and CO2 evolution rate. How much O2 we are consuming, respiring, and how much CO2 we are giving out. Okay. So this we will find out, where R naught O naught will be the initial first rate of O2 consumption. R CO2 is the initial rate of the CO2 evolution, where E is the activation energy of the oxygen for the respiration rate. Minimum amount of energy we are needed for that. R is the Rittinger's constant, T is the temperature. Similarly here, E is the activation energy for the respiration of the product. So a part of determining the respiration rate, and there is another measure of this temperature effect on respiration, that is known as Q10 effect. Okay. So in Q10 what we see the respiration at temperature when we increase the 10 degrees Celsius of temperature, and respiration at that temperature we will find out, that we call as Q10. Q10 generally multiplies, okay, two times, 3 times, or they will multiply half-fold every 10 degrees Celsius increase of the temperature, that we have found. So Q10 is a common way of expressing the temperature depending on Q10, and which is applicable either on O2 consumption or CO2 evolution. For both it is applicable, and typically Q10 value for vegetable as 2.5 to 4 when the temperature is in between 0 to 10. Q10 value increases from 2 to 2.5 when the temperature increases 10 degrees Celsius. For again increase of 10 degrees Celsius, again 0.5 will increase, again 10 degrees Celsius, again 0.5 will increase. So this decrease. So this is the Q10 value for the determining the temperature effect on the respiration rate. So we can also influence the gas permeability with temperature. Okay, this gas permeability of product of packaging material also influences. Okay, not only the respiration rate, the gas permeability is also influenced with temperature. Okay, so as we increase the temperature, what happens? The gas becomes thinner, and its tendency to escape will increase. That's why this permeability we have to find out. Generally, we are increasing the temperature, respiration rate will also increase. Then we will find out the Q10 value also. Then we will find out the permeability, because we are thinning the gas and it can escape more fastly from the system. So we find out gas permeability, because gas permeability also depends on this. So what is the gas permeability of oxygen? What were the initial gas permeability? E is the activation energy again, RT we know. Similarly, same equation for carbon dioxide. So now we have designed the different types of film. We have find out what are the, we have seen the equations, how to find out the respiration rate, okay, what is the concentration. This concentration we have to use some equipments to determining the concentration rate inside the product, so inside the packet. So those are generally the gas analyzers we are using to determining the gas composition inside the product, okay, inside the packet. What is the respiration rate for the respiration rate calculation. So a part of this, we can also use the polymeric films, like films which are having perforations. So since there are variety of produce, we are having wide range of permeabilities product, okay. Since our range of what we are consuming is very wide, so that's why whatever we are storing, we have to provide a wide range also. So we are having high permeability needed for the rapidly respiring produce, and low permeability for the produce which are respiring very slowly. So perforation of or the microfilm porous depends upon these factors. On what factors perforation depends, or permeability polymeric film depends, okay. So first one is the perforation of the film. How much these films are perforated, okay, or these films are made. First we find out the perforation, how much perforation they are having. So if we are providing the perforation, what happens? It increases the permeability, okay, which is needed for many products. And it is also possible to meet the solutions. Like why we need to give perforation? Because for high respiring products, we need to give more oxygen inlet, okay. And we also prevent developing of anaerobic bacteria. If we are supplying sufficient oxygen, then anaerobic bacteria will not develop inside the product, okay. So if we are, our respiration rate is very high, we can go for more perforation film, and it will also help to not to develop anaerobic bacteria, okay. These two conditions can be overcome. So these systems and films have permeability many orders and magnitudes higher than those of non-permeable or perforated films. Next is temperature compensating film. So sometimes temperature will be the influencing parameter when we are storing the product, okay. So in that what will happen, we develop the film which can tolerate the temperature fluctuation, okay. We develop certain type of material or films which can tolerate that, like we can't maintain the same temperature throughout the storage food chain, right. So for that we have to provide some cushion to the material, so that cushion for temperature, so that the temperature increase or suddenly decrease of the temperature can be influenced, can be overcome with that permeable membrane, okay, with type of membrane during storage and distribution. The problem of developing such films is mismatch of activation energies for respiration and permeation. So we can design the films, okay, but we have to see at those temperatures we should get the enough activation energy and respiration rate, okay. So these two things we have to consider whenever we are designing the films with the which can compensate the temperature also, okay. Previously we have seen we are designing the films with perforations, okay. Now we are seeing with the perforation and the temperature dependence, okay, both things. Now next is ceramic filled films. So these films contain 5% of ceramic powder, and this ceramic for powder contains like manufacturer has claimed that it is good for infrared radiation. Okay, like this ceramic will absorb the infrared radiation and our product will not be affected with that. Okay, and it also absorbs ethylene gas, which is again do the ripeness of the product faster. So this is also helpful for retaining it. That's why we fill the films with the ceramic. Sorry. So what we have studied, how to design the films, we have seen how to find out the respiration rate, we have seen. Now the conclusion that MAP is likely to be done most important technology in packaging of fresh produce, and its advantages includes the extension of shelf life, maintaining the quality of fresh produce and suitable market. Challenging in MAP involves the cost of packaging. Okay, and if we have to provide some specific packaging methods, okay, like if we need to generate the temperature influenced temperature compensating films. Okay, so those are the limitation in or challenges inside MAP. Every technology has its own pros and cons. So this technology also having such pros and cons, like achieving the security and safety will be a question. Okay, so that's why we are also going for active packaging, or we are going for this intelligent packaging after MAP also. And there are areas we can deal with which can enhance the MAP production, okay, which can increase the MAP efficiency. That is not explored yet. These are the some cons, but MAP by themselves is sufficient enough for storing the product. So that's it for today's lecture. So we will meet for next lecture very soon. Thank you. Hello students, and welcome to FPD lab. So this is the lab in which we determining the respiration rate of MAP. So theory of MAP and how the MAP machines work we have seen already. Now we will see how to find out the MAP of the respiration rate of MAP, or modified atmospheric packaging. This packet we can see it is modified MAP packet. So in that, inside that we are changing the composition of the oxygen, carbon dioxide and nitrogen gases, that we can see in this. So before that there are some nomenclatures which we have to understand. These are some nomenclatures which we have to understand. CO2 means the percentage of carbon dioxide concentration. Then CO2 in means the inside of the packet, what is the at any time what is the concentration of oxygen. C out IS is the steady state condition. Okay, inlet CO2 concentration in overflow system, flow through system, what is the CO2 in, CO2 out in flow through system. CO2O is the outside packaging, what is the oxygen concentration outside the system. So likewise we have to find out molecular weight of CO2, molecular weight of oxygen. PATM is the pressure, PCO2 is the pre-exponential factor for permeability, or the permeability factor. PCO2 is the permeability to carbon dioxide, permeability. PO2 is permeability of the oxygen. P is the pressure of the packaging material. R is the gas constant, Luttinger constant, which is 8.314. So this pre-exponential factor for respiration rate, RT, and CO2 is the rate of oxygen, rate of carbon dioxide, S will be surface area, T will be time, capital T will be temperature. These things are there. W will be the maximum respiration rate of the product, weight of kgs. What is the maximum respiration rate of the product? So W will be product weight. So V will be a free volume in the package of the jar, maximum respiration rate will be the Vm. So then we have seen the introduction. This we have already covered in theory. So you can write in these things in notes. In introduction. Generally, in this lecture, we are going to determine the respiration rate. So that we will see. So these are the things which we studied in MAP. What is MAP? What is different composition of carbon dioxide, oxygen, and all. After this, we have seen this nitrogen or oxygen levels, how they are changing, what is the controls we are going to keep. Okay, with this help of this valve, we are going to control the flow rate inside this gas chamber, and this gas chamber is with the help of again some valves or pressures, okay, or check valves, we are going to flush that gas inside the system, and we are going to hermetically seal it. This is what we are doing in MAP. This is how we are going to design MAP packaging, but this is not. This was there for theory. So in theory, you can also write what are the different gases and what their role, like what is the role of carbon dioxide, what is the role of nitrogen, what is the role of O2 inside the packaging material. And then this is help you to how to find out. You have to draw the diagram. This will be a diagram. What is happening inside the product. Okay, so this you have to draw. So what are the composition or orientation of this N2O2? This we have to make. Then this graph is very much important. You have to take a snap for this graph and keep it with you, so that before designing anything, you have to get this initial reading, what should be the CO2 and O2 composition when we are storing inside MAP. Respiration rate, again theory part. Now types of system we have seen. Now comes the real thing. Okay, so this you have to find out. How to find out? Respiration rate of oxygen, that is equals to the inlet concentration of oxygen, outlet concentration of oxygen from the system. M will be the molecular weight of oxygen. P is the pressure. F is the factor, which is what is the initial factor for respiration rate. W will be the weight of the sample which we are dealing with. R is the Retignus law constant 8.314, and T will be the temperature. So this is the concentration change inside the packet. Okay, this is what we are going to use in numericals. So we will solve the numericals on these equations, equation 1, equation 2. Similarly, same equation for carbon dioxide. Then temperature dependence, this is not needed anyways, okay, but in GATE sometimes they ask what is the temperature dependence. So here R is the respiration rate of oxygen, R naught will be the activation rate of the oxygen, initial rate of respiration we also can call. EA, E naught, O2 is the EO2 is the activation energy of the oxygen, what we need for respiration, what is the energy we needed. R is the Retignus law constant, T is the temperature, at what temperature we are dealing with. Same for carbon dioxide also. These things are same for carbon dioxide. Then we have to deal with Q10 value. This is for theory. Q10 value. Permeability is not needed. Then this is polymeric film. We are not dealing with polymeric film in class, okay, in practical class. So only things which we needed in practical class is the respiration rate of oxygen and respiration rate of, or intake rate of oxygen and evolution rate of CO2. We have to find out. For that we have seen two equations, and on those two equations we will solve numericals in class. Thank you. Hopefully you liked the lecture. We will meet with you soon.